we as West Virginians, I'm sure that you'll notice that we love putting signs up. Like when you drive on Bolt Mountain, there's a sign that says 1953 Marble Champion. And
is there really?
Yes. And then there's no Bill Withers sign. And then there's like when you drive in Oak Hill, there's a sign that says home of founders of Grandparents Day. And I'm like, I'm not down in grandparents or the Marble Champion, but Bill Withers is a bigger deal than that. Like he's our biggest star. Why is there not a sign up?
Welcome to Creepalachia. We have one of the finest West Virginian Appalachian musicians, period, in the studio today with Matt Mullins. Today is the first day we've met in person, and I'm so excited for this. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here. I'm a big fan of the podcast and everybody you've had on. It's awesome.
Well, I've heard your name for so many years. I'm just really curious to learn the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an artist. If y'all see here on the table, Matt has brought me gifts, which are going to go on the wall. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm a gift giver. I love it.
Yeah. So when did you first get into music? Did you start with a guitar? Or?
My very first like iteration of me playing music was at Stratton Junior High. I had homeroom in the band room, and we had a great band director, Renee Todd, and she saw that I was wearing, music band shirts, different bands, Rolling Stones and the Beatles and stuff. And she was like, Matt, why don't you get in the beginning band? And I didn't want to because I was thinking, well, none of my friends are in the band. And then she showed me the drum line. And so, I changed my classes from individual sports into beginning band, and I got into the drum line, and that was kind of my first taste of playing music. And yeah,
so you started with drums.
Started with drums.
So, like, I tried to learn drums one time, and then the rudiments is the first thing you start learning,
mm-hmm.
and I quickly gave up because I think being a drummer, I think it's one of the instruments that you just need to have about 80% natural ability to have rhythm. Does that make sense? I don't know. Can you teach people to learn drums?
I would think that you don't have to be born with it for sure, but also being in that band, Stratton Junior High, a crazy great band, like legendary. I think humility is what I learned from it, because our very first band competition was at Busch Gardens, and we went, and I was on cymbals. So there was this incredible drum line, and then they just pointed their sticks at me, and I was, which is like a metaphor for my whole life.
You're like the cowbell.
Yeah, that's me. That's me, the cymbals. I learned humility, but also like just being part of the group, and the camaraderie, I think, is more what I learned, coexisting. And then really didn't didn't play guitar or anything. My senior year, we had a group of guys that were in a band, and they needed a singer, and they knew that I would rap. I wanted to be Snoop or a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, and I was never shy. So they got me. The band was called Lava Buns. Was our first band. So that was the first Lava Buns. Yeah, that was the first band, and then bought a guitar pretty much on my way to Marshall my freshman year of college.
Now, have you always been a painter, or, was you making logos back then?
No, I've always drawn. I've always been a pro wrestling fan. So I used to like draw, Jake the Snake, Rick Rude, Hulk Hogan. I would draw like little comic books of them. And I was a comic book kid. Famous Comics, shout out. Famous in Beckley. His son, Joey, was one of my best friends growing up. And we just loved drawing and kind of even tracing over that stuff. And then years later, with COVID happening and I couldn't perform live, I was like, I think I'm going to just try to get some canvases and retry painting. And so I kind of used humor and made our Mountain Dew Legend Chili Night, and I made the Moth Mansion and some other fun ones.
That's awesome. So, as you progressed in music, did you find yourself like, hey, I'm getting pretty good, or was it a struggle to kind of climb the hill to be able to write a song?
Terrible. Just this past weekend, I played Weathered Ground, and one of my really good friends, Sean Atkins, who hadn't seen me play in years, he was just kind of blown away. He was like, "Man, I remember you would try to come in to like our dorm room with your guitar, and I would say, Matt, you cannot bring that guitar. You suck." And it was me just hammering at it just over and over. I would learn one song and then the next one and kept on it for years. And so I'm sure that those people were sick of Nirvana, Lake of Fire and Number 41 by Dave Matthews Band, because that's what I knew, Oh,
you mean Simple Man wasn't your first one?
No, Simple Man wasn't my first one, but I did have some Skynyrd in there. But
let's see, because I played for a little while. I was in a little death metal band. I played bass. But ever since I picked up a camera, I put the bass down, which is kind of sad. But Stairway to Heaven was my go-to.
Yeah.
And Simple Man and One by Metallica.
Yeah, that's kind of always Nothing Else Matters is another one, Metallica, which I'm seeing Metallica tomorrow.
Black
Side Quest. Yeah.
Nice.
My almost 13-year-old son called me and was like, I think I want to go see Metallica. So we're going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. At the Virginia Tech Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be amazing.
Crazy.
How old are you? I hate to even put you on the spot.
No.
We're the same age, ain't we?
I just turned 42.
Okay, so I'll be 40 this year. So you grew up during the NWO days. And
oh, yeah. I never really stopped watching wrestling.
Oh, really?
There was years in my 20s, I think I was just apprehensive about telling people that I was a wrestling guy. And then once I hit 30, I was like, you know what? There's baseball guys and football guys, and I'm a wrestling guy.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of always been my jam.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I was hardcore into it from the NWO till about midway through the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And then I somehow lost touch with it, which is kind of sad. But
I think I got reinvested because of Heath Slater, and I got to play Heath's wedding. He married a girl from Coal City, and of course Heath is from Pineville, and their wedding was in this little church in Coal City, and they asked me to play a Peter Gabriel song. And so I was a nervous wreck about it. And it's like this 60-person capacity church in Coal City. And Heath's best men were Justin Gabriel, who's a wrestler. He goes by PJ Black now. And then Wade Barrett was the other. He's like an announcer.
Yeah.
And they had Alicia Fox, who was a WWE diva in that era. And she's sitting in the front row. And I was just like, I was a 12-year-old in that Coal City church. Like, oh my God, I'm going to forget the words of this Peter Gabriel song.
That's awesome. I'd love to have. Is Heath still around?
He lives right outside Charlotte. He actually lives in Pineville, South Carolina, which is like he moved from Pineville, West Virginia. But it's right near Carowinds, so right on the North Carolina
Does
line.
he ever come in?
Oh, a bunch.
Man,
yeah,
I'd love to get him.
Oh, yeah. Show. We could text him right now.
That'd be okay.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk songwriting.
Yeah.
So, me and you've kind of went back and forth on our McDowell County ties and different things like that. What was the first song you ever wrote? Are you proud of it, or is it one you kind of are like, that was?
I think that it was completely based on getting my heart broke. So my first probably 15 or 20 songs are all songs where got my heart broke my freshman year of college, and I was like, I want to get her back. I'm going to write that song, that's going to get her back. And then eventually it morphed into, man, I'm so glad I don't want her back. I'm keeping writing these songs. And that was like kind of my new love affair.
It seems to be the best songs come from heartbreak, it seems.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to play. I don't know how many we're going to play. I'm so grateful to hear what you got. Do you have an idea of which song you want to start with? Because I thought it'd be cool to set up some backstory on how you wrote it, or if it's a cover or whatever.
No. We don't want to play no covers. We want to play
no covers.
We don't want to play no covers unless we get into the Bill Withers thing, which we can talk about Bill. But I've got a new album that's getting ready to come out. It's, June 5th. Is the release of all the digital distribution. And then the night of Thursday, June 5th, we're playing in Charleston, West Virginia at Folklore Music Exchange. in Charleston. And then June 6th, we're playing at Weathered Ground Brewery. And so those are our, like, we'll have physical copies on vinyl and CD. And so I'll play some songs from the new album, I guess.
Heck yeah. Well, start us off with the first one here. And so what's the name of this one?
We'll get into some McDowell County songs too.
Hey, you know, I'm just here. You do your thing. I'm gonna cut on your reverb for the crowd here.
Oh yeah.
All right. So now you're gonna hear super reverb band. Go ahead.
Hey.
There he is.
I like it. This is one called Rust, and this is a song that I'm in a songwriting group, and in the songwriting group, you have to whoever picks the prompt, you've got to write a song with that prompt in it. And so the prompt was beat up cars, and this is what I came up with.
Perfect.
Oh, we got a tune first. We got a tune.
Let's tune it up. We're doing it live.
We'll fix it in post.
F it. We can't cuss, but have you saw that clip of Bill O'Reilly?
I love it.
Oh, it's the best, dude.
Cool. All right, this is called Rust. In the junkyard, staring at the texture of this rust. Think this is the big one. Elizabeth. Imagining the miles these beat up cars traveled on. People that carried along. Underneath the stars, underneath your stars. If these tires could talk, what would they say? 1,000 journeys of driving, crying away. If these tires could talk, wouldn't want to know how many wasted miles getting me to the show. If these tires could talk. But everything is beautiful if you let your eyes adjust. 'Cause after all this is all now, it's all just rust. Maybe we're all just in our own junkyards, people sizing us up for our broke down parts. We are broke down cars. Even the most broke down can be repaired. Some just need a little work. It's just wear and tear. We are wear and tear. If these tires could talk, what would they say? 1,000 journeys of crying, driving away. If these tires could talk, wouldn't want to know how many wasted miles to get me to the show. If these tires could talk. But everyone is beautiful. That's why there's just no time for prejudice. 'Cause after all this pain has worn off, we're all just rust. just rust. In the junkyard, staring at the texture of this rust. Think this is the big one. Elizabeth, Elizabeth.
Beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. That was incredible. So, was that one of the first songs you wrote off the new album, or?
Yes. For this, well, there is an oldie on the new album. We recut it for Heath, actually, for new entrance music. But that one is one of the first ones. Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How many songs are on it?
10.
What's the album called?
This is called Learn from Letting Go.
Learn from Letting Go.
Yeah,
I love it. What number album is this? How many have you done over
So the
years?
Bringdowns, 4 guys. Stuart Hill on lead guitar. He's a Pineville guy. Then you got Dylan McInturf on drums. He's from Athens, West Virginia. And then you've got Bob Campion from Princeton on bass. And everybody sings. So this is our 4th studio album. And I think we put out a live one, and then we did like some cover singles. So 5th or 6th digital online albums, I guess.
Nice. So have you always, how many bands have you been in over the years?
There was Lava Buns, which is number 1 in my heart. Lava Buns was like, I think we only played 1 or 2 shows. You know, everybody has that kind of thing that when you're starting out, you don't really play shows. You just get together and jam. But Old School Abbey was the first.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, Old School Abbey with my good friend Nick Durham, who's in Alabaster Boxer. They're out playing. Nick Durham and I went to Concord together, lived together. Hetero life mates is what we call each other. We started Old School Abbey, and we were pretty serious with that. Like, I quit school, quit work. We were out doing it, you know, traveling the roads. We moved to San Francisco in 2008.
Did you? I didn't realize that.
And lived out there for a few months and recorded an album with a guy named Jackie Green, who's in the band The Black Crows. And so, yeah, Jackie was in The Black Crows.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then kind of put that album out, and then the band got in a big fight. And
like a physical fight?
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, you don't have to tell me. But.
No. There's always. I mean, being in a band is actually worse than being in a relationship, because you I don't know, man. You're not in love with the person, so you have to figure out. Everybody has their own idiosyncrasies, and you gotta be able to live and coexist. And sometimes it's tough, you know, different political beliefs and life beliefs and everything else. So once we moved back, and we were really trying to do it and support the album, actually a San Francisco radio station, WKXP or something, but they were like playing a single regularly, but we couldn't get over there and support it. So we were in West Virginia, and at the time, a guitar player and drummer couldn't get along. And so we were all equal partners. And so we just had to split up. So we couldn't really support that record. And Nick and I stayed together, and we started the Boatmen. And the Boatmen kind of formed out of, we wanted to still play music. And we were pretty successful. Randy Gilkey was in that band.
Yeah, Randy's coming in.
Yeah.
To the studio.
Yeah, Randy's one of my best friends, unbelievable talent, and crazy life story. Have Randy tell you his Chuck Berry story.
Chuck Berry. I have to make
I got to play with Chuck Berry. He'll tell you it's an amazing story. But yeah, Randy's incredible. And then Rob Gross was on djembe, and we kind of sang 4-part harmonies. And then with the Boatmen, I think I was getting ready to move. I moved down to the Radford, Virginia area. My first wife was pregnant with our son. And at the time I was freaking out, you know, about being a new dad, and was like, I got to quit music and get a real job, and they can't do it. So I kind of quit the band, and they kept it going for a while. And, I kept playing some solo shows here and there, and then circled back around to make my first solo album. And I ended up getting Stuart and Dylan, Bob, Bill Fraley was actually in the band at the time, who's an Alabaster boxer. Kind of had them on the same tracks. We were recording at Kid in the Background with Jamie Smith.
Yep. Shout out Jamie.
Yeah. Shout out Jamie Smith. Love you. And that it was going to be my solo record and had the same guys. And we were like, well, I think we're a band. And so that's kind of how it came to be the Bringdowns. We were listening back to the very first playback of what we recorded. And I saw everybody at the same time, Jamie included, everybody let this big like sigh of relief that it sounded good. Yeah. It was like, we brought the room down. And then so the Bringdowns came from that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the half a second I was in a band, like you talking there, just, I remember little things like we'd get together to practice once a week, and then someone wouldn't be focused and there'd be so much testosterone flowing because you got a bunch of type A's in a room usually that are wanting to add their ideas. So I could imagine like it would be a thing with you doing it for so long.
Yeah.
It gives a new respect too to like bands like Metallica on how in the world they stayed together.
Oh yeah.
For so long.
Yeah. And I think that it evolves, just like as you get older, we're always just figuring it out. Sure. And I think that with music, selfishly, it's became my therapy. Like, that I went from writing songs about heartache to now I write songs about my kids and songs about, McDowell County and Wyoming County and
it's like you're growing up.
Yeah, well, it's how I deal with it too,
Sure.
So I think certain people have to go and I have and talk to somebody that when you need help or to work through stuff, and I found more comfort in being able to write songs. So that's kind of my own thing.
Heck yeah, man! Did you ever play the Rocket Club in Bluefield?
I went to the Rocket Club.
Did you?
Late Night Zero was playing. Do you remember who that group
is?
Late Night Zero.
I remember the name.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw them, but we played there a few times. That's the only place we ever played.
Yeah, that was a cool spot.
Yeah, legendary. It's just random trailer on the side of the road. Now it has 10 tons of gravel in front of it. I don't know what's going on now, but I was just curious. So your shows in the early days, how did you book things? Like I imagine people reach out now, but
yeah, they do. I think that I've just never been shy. Like that part of, especially in West Virginia, and I think that we're really lucky in Southern West Virginia that like we're all relationship based. Mm-hmm. Like I was a beer salesman for a while and transformed into a teacher, but it's still like who you know, and you talk about you only get business like 5% of the time when you're talking to somebody. Like you're asking how their families are, and that part always came pretty natural to me, that I would go into a bar or a venue and say, do you have any dates open? This is kind of what we're doing. And I think starting out, I would just figured out where the open mics were and try to go and be silly and play a funny song and try to get people to laugh. That was always my end too. Is like, if I could be funny, I don't got to be good.
Yeah.
So that was it.
From open mics, did you ever have a moment where someone was like, hey, I really want you to play, my bar or my event or anything?
And then the other end of things too, I had people say, I never want you to play.
All right.
You, sir, are drunk.
That's great. How many fights have you saw over the years?
Oh, I've had the best seat in the house. Right. Like I've always said that, the days of the Lost Parrot, which was a great staple in downtown Beckley. It was everything about it you would think that like there's no part of me that would like that place, because I'm not a big Jimmy Buffett fan. It was a Jimmy Buffett themed bar. I was like one of the first people to play there, and I was the last person to play there. But I loved the Lost Parrot because people would show up. They'd be so gussied up, dressed to the nines, and then 3 hours later be the drunkest person that, falling off their bar stool, and you get to see them like either try to fight somebody or get helped out. So.
Right. Well, when people get that drunk, you kind of see who they really are. They're either really innocent and nice, or they're complete monsters. It seems like
some people are allergic. I think I was one. Yeah. I don't know.
That's great. Well, I'm going to ask you about some Bill Withers stuff later, but let's get into song 2. Do you have an idea of what you're wanting to play?
Let me tell you. let's go ahead and do the Hatfield-McCoy song.
Heck yeah.
I found out that I'm related to Devil Anse Hatfield's older brother, Valentine, that they called Wall. And if you watch the History Channel's redramatization of the Hatfield-McCoy feud, he was played by Powers Booth, which I think is the best looking dude in that series. So I wanted to write a song that talked about the feud, but also that since we have this hundreds of miles of ATV trail systems, I was thinking, well, I'll tell the history of the feud, but then I'll put the trailhead names in there because maybe I can sell this to the tourism board or the Hatfields and McCoy's trail system. And so I wrote it and recorded it, and I sent the critical email, said like
salesmanship.
Yeah. Like, hey, I wrote this song. It's got the trailhead names in it. I think it would be perfect. At the time, it was trailheaven.org, which I think still is the website, but they used it for years. And they sent me the email back and they said, Matt, we really like the song. We'd like to use it. And in exchange, we'd like to give you a free 4-wheeler ride. It's like, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's great. All right. Let's reverb it up.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
So here is On the Trails. Goes like this. The son of the devil took their Rosie away. You get what's coming, or so they say. The death of a turncoat started their feud. It's the last straw when you steal a man's food. Now Ellison fell as the pistol smoke cleared. Both sides blinded through the tears. Tied them boys to the trees near the tug. Sentenced them for what they done. It's about the ride in this mountainside of these West Virginia hills. Now history's laid through the debts been paid, and the names left on the trails. And the names left on the trails. So out of them hollers to national news, rifles spoke more than words were used. The whole world heard that thunderous sound. The mountain state's feuding king was crowned. But old Ran and Sarah, they lost it all as the death toll stacked up past this wall. In Mingo, Logan, Wyoming, McDowell, our ancestry lives all through these grounds. It's about the ride in this mountainside of these West Virginia hills. Now history's laid through the debts been paid, and the names left on the trails. And the names left on the trails. That little cold river now ride it well down to Bellwillow, well the time will tell how the rock house got its name. It makes a Buffalo Mountain just seem tame. Down to Pinnacle Creek near the old drive-in, riding Pocahontas to Indian Ridge. The Hatfields, McCoys, oh how they fell. Their blood still lives all through these trails. 'Cause it's about the ride in this mountainside of these West Virginia hills. Now history's laid through the debts been paid, and the names left on the trails. And the names left on the trails. Now we've reached the evil outro. Let's see if we can do it. Now we was raised right in these woods. Ooh, 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 shine. Ooh, if you don't know, get off that soapbox preaching. Ooh, you only find this in West by God. Ooh, you're testifying, then devil answers church. Cause history's laid through the debts been paid and the names left on the trail.
Matt, that is incredible.
Thanks,
you
man.
know what I love? I love that, like, yeah, we have babies and then they grow up and then they do stuff like you're doing and they eventually write these songs. I mean, that's just so freaking cool, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm just in awe. So when did you write that one?
That one I wrote, I think, in like 2013, 2014. So that's an older one. So yeah, that one's like right at the end of my Boatman era. And I think we might have even played it once or twice, not many times, but kind of threw it away. And then when it was time to record the solo record, Jamie Smith was like, Matt, this is one of your bangers. We gotta put some gang vocals in there, and we did the O's. We did those all together in the big room, and
I was gonna hop in, but I didn't want to screw it up.
Well, you missed your sing along section, but yeah. So then the Bringdowns, we put it on that first album with Jamie and Heath, the wrestler. Recently, he's trying a new persona, and he was like, Matt, I want those O's. I want that at the beginning of the song to go a few times so we can get the crowd singing along. Mm-hmm. And so we recut it for this new album. So it's on the new album too. Have
you heard that the crowd do that when he walks out?
No. He hadn't used it yet. He's
gotcha.
Like, yeah, he's getting ready. He's growing his hair out and trying this whole new thing. So I'm excited for him. Yeah, we just cut it and sent it to him for approval. And so.
Heck yeah. Well, Heath, if you're listening, local boy here, come in and let's promote the crap out of this.
Yeah.
Comeback.
I'll be his driver. I'll bring him over.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. We'll have you both on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. So tell me about, you mentioned Bill Withers. What kind of walk me through that?
So years ago, I think what I remember my 7th grade West Virginia history class with Kay Epling of the Epling fame of, the minors baseball team and stuff. Kay's, she's in the local government as well for Raleigh County, and she's a great woman. But I remember her very clearly saying, well, Matt, I see you love music. Did you know Bill Withers was from here? And it was the end of the semester, and it only ticked me off. Like, I was like, what do you mean he's from here? Like, from this school? And she's like, yeah. She was like, he went to Stratton. And I just couldn't believe, that I knew all his songs and had no idea that he was from Beckley. So I'd always been pretty obsessed with Bill's music. I just think he's such a positive guy, and his songwriting is what I aspire to be, because simplistic lyrics, but still so deep. And like, to be prolific and simple at the same time seems, so different, but he did such a good job at that, like Lean on Me and Grandma's Hands. And so kind of my role in getting Bill recognition is insane to me that I have any part in that. But I was, my family, my mom's from Copperston. So you drive through Slab Fork, and for years, no sign up. And I just couldn't understand that. And we as West Virginians, I'm sure that you'll notice that we love putting signs up. Like when you drive on Bolt Mountain, there's a sign that says 1953 Marble Champion. And
Is there really?
Yes. And then there's no Bill Withers sign. And then there's like when you drive in Oak Hill, there's a sign that says home of founders of Grandparents Day. And I'm like, I'm not down in grandparents or the marble champion, but Bill Withers is a bigger deal than that. Like he's our biggest star. Why is there not a sign up?
I don't know. Have you played marbles? I mean, come on.
I mean, marbles is cool, but yeah.
I haven't played it one time, but yeah, that's amazing.
And I'm sure she was incredible. But let's get a Bill Withers sign up. So I started a change.org petition, probably 2012-ish in that region. And it quickly got, 500, 1,000 signatures. Like, let's get a sign up. And I talked about it forever. Like, why is there no sign up? Why is there no sign up? I wanted a sign because, so Bill said he was from Slab Fork. And I went down the rabbit hole of so many interviews. And Bill said, I'm really from Beckley, but it sounds more interesting for me to tell people I'm from Slab Fork. Because, so his dad's side, he lived in Slab Fork till he was born. And then at 3, moved from Slab Fork to Beckley and grew up on Mellon Street, which is now a vacant lot, but off Rural Acres Drive. And he lived right there. There's the Callaway Heights Baptist Church is right there. We need to celebrate Bill Withers. And that was kind of my stance. And like, we have to get signs up. So I was playing at Cantrell's in Fayetteville. And this was probably 2017. And I was playing that day and had to go to Pineville. I drive through Slab Fork and I see a sign that says birthplace of Bill Withers. And I had to pull over and I took pictures and I was like, they listened. Department of Highways listened. Somebody saw the petition or, somebody listened. I'm playing Cantrell's that night and my buddy Duck, Howard is his name, and my buddy Flash, they're laughing when I'm talking about it. And I'm like, what y'all laughing about? And they're like, Matt, they're like, we went on the internet and we found out where we could get interstate signs made and we paid to have it made. And we went down there with a socket set and and they put it up. So that's what started it.
Oh my God, that's so great.
So that's what started it. Then when they opened the Coalfield Expressway, this is what I think happened. Because if you're coming from Pineville way back in, that's still their original sign on that side. But when they opened the Coalfield Expressway side, they took their sign down. And I think the Department of Highways was like, well, we got to put a new sign up. That's our sign. They put a bigger one that says home of Bill Withers, which I still wish it said birthplace, but that's fine. But it says home of Bill Withers even bigger. So they put a bigger sign up, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Isn't there an audio trail there?
Yeah. So it's the African American audio tour. It's Tamar Slay, who was in the NBA. It's his mom. I can't remember her name. But she recorded it. She recorded it at Kid in the Background.
Oh, wow.
All that audio tour stuff is recorded at Kid in the Background.
That's awesome. Oh, no. Tamar Slay's from Beckley, right?
Yeah. Tamar's from Beckley, but his mom narrated it.
Right.
And then, yeah. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So then that kind of started my journey. And then, so once Bill, you can't have a roadside marker like the informational tablets that you see. Mm-hmm. You can't have those until the person has passed away. That's some rule. So I got contacted. Bill passed away I think it's March 30th, 2020, COVID complications from a heart thing. Mm. And they were going to fast track Bill's sign. It usually takes up to a year. And they wanted to go ahead and get his sign up at the Stratton Elementary site because that's originally on South Fayette Street. That's the Stratton High School site, which was the segregated high school that Bill graduated from.
Sure.
So they contacted me about some fundraising first, and then DJ Morgan, who has some...
My dude.
Yeah, DJ Morgan is who pretty much, he funded the majority. Yeah.
Dude, we're such... DJ Morgan from like Beckley or from Oceana?
Oceana.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And Annie's his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like
great friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were like the main contributors of the roadside marker. and contacted them, and they didn't want to do it like they do other roadside markers, since it was like our state's biggest star. They said we should do like a celebration. And I didn't know that Rob Rappold had already been in talks with the family about maybe doing a statue. So Pastor Fred Hightower, who did the Katherine Johnson statue from Hidden Figures, the NASA lady, who's from White Sulphur Springs. Fred Hightower is who he came and had the small prototype of the statue at the roadside marker day, and we kind of did a big celebration. Brought the Carpenter Ants, which is Michael Lipton from the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, and we did a big celebration that day. And that kind of started us. Well, let's have a Bill Withers Memorial Festival and raise money to fund the statue.
Wow.
So then you fast forward 5 years later of fundraising and a lot of other, I had a very small fraction to do with it in comparison. But yeah, Michelle Rodolini, Jill Moorfield, all those guys worked so hard and raised the money. And so March 28th of this year, I got to bring my Beckley Stratton students and our band director and choir director, Evangeline Bickford, worked out a version of Lean On Me. We got to sing Lean On Me as they unveiled the Bill Withers statue that's like the centerpiece of our town. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What a story, man. That's the most West Virginia story I've ever probably heard to do with music, for sure. I mean, everybody just coming together on this common goal. That's awesome.
Well, it ended up being like the passion of my life. And I had no, like to think of Bill Withers, like I would have no part in. Everybody knows the songs, but not everybody knows the man. So I found like that's my part, is like I have to get people to know like what a good guy that he was behind those songs. So
yeah. Well, I know like Matt and you and my other buddy Matt Deal, like I hate to ask if you do a cover, but
I'll do some Bill.
You want to do a Bill Withers song?
I'll do a Bill Withers song.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Can't without, after that story, I can't not.
Let's do, we got to do Grandma's Hands. I think Grandma's Hands is my favorite one. So hit the reverb off for just a second.
Oh, yep.
Let me tell this side story.
Heck yeah, we're doing it live. Go ahead.
We're doing it live. So in the beginning of starting this festival, to fundraise. This sounds crazy, but I am a little crazy, and it's fine. So I was kind of searching for inspiration because I felt like a pushback that maybe, everybody, the imposter syndrome thing. Like,
sure.
Should it be me that's doing this? Like, shouldn't it be somebody that knows more about music and life? And so Grandma's Hands of the Bill Withers tunes was my favorite. And I was thinking, well, Bill's not buried in West Virginia. And I was thinking, well, maybe I should go visit some of his family. And I was like, I'm sure that Bill's grandma that he wrote Grandma's Hands about is probably buried somewhere. And maybe I should go visit with her. And if you haven't done that, as far as like if you're searching for something to go visit some family or somebody's family in a cemetery, and I think that it kind of gets you away from the cell phones, and you kind of can maybe center yourself and whether or not you believe in anything, a higher power, that I think that's just something good to go visit with people. And so there's a website called findmygrave.com, which we're on Creepalachia. This seems like a proper thing to talk about.
100%.
100%. So I found Bill's mom she's buried over at the graveyard near the soccer fields in Beckley. And, pretty, regular gravestone. And it just said for mother on one side, Maddie Withers. And so visited with her. And then the more research I did, Eulalia Galloway is his grandmother's name. And it just said Slab Fork Cemetery. So on Thames Mountain, if you're going towards Burning Rock, it said Slab Fork Cemetery. So I go there, and just didn't seem right, because I knew she would have passed in the 60s, and I'm kind of in this like newer, well kept cemetery. And the more research I'm doing, I find out that I'm standing in the white cemetery, and that she is buried in Slab Fork Cemetery number 2, which is across the road in the woods. Which,
no way. I didn't know they segregated cemeteries.
So I didn't either. And it gives me chills retelling it, because like, what a screwed up world we were living in, that we tell people that where they go, in life, like you can't use the same bathrooms, but to even segregate, after death is insane. So, yeah. So then there's a great Bill documentary called Still Bill. It's free on YouTube. You can check it out. And he goes to the cemetery. But the more I read, not only is Bill's grandma buried there, but Bill's father, 5 of his brothers and sisters, and along with 90 unmarked graves of Black coal mine workers from the Slab Fork coal mine and their families. So they're just like all buried in the woods, and it's in the woods, like over across the road.
Wow.
On Thames Mountain. It's crazy. And there are like some like old marble markers, but for the most part, like, nothing. Somebody has went there and put some wooden crosses up. And it's just like a moving thing, like a moving moment to go and visit. And then also Christy Bailey, who is, shout out Christy Bailey.
Shout out. It's so fun because I know all these people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a fun, it's a sad story, but it's also great to know.
Christy Bailey's son, Micah, and I lived together at Concord. So that's the other crazy connection. But Christy, I did my internship with in college, and she is the director of the Coal Heritage Authority. And she was like, Matt, we should get some signs up. And I think that was like a side quest that I didn't know I was even on. I was like, yeah, we need to get these people recognition too. Because not only was, Bill's grandma, but those are family members of 90 people, like, to think of right there. So, so then kind of reinvigorated to get the whole festival going and get people involved, was visiting with Bill's grandma. And so, all that to say, this is Grandma's Hands by Bill.
That's beautiful. Yes. Take it away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played a tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She'd say, Billy, why you run so fast? Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in that grass. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands soothe the local unwed mother. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hands used to lift her face and tell her, she'd say, baby, Grandma understands that you really love that man, but put yourself in Jesus' hands. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hands picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hands, boy, they really came in handy. She'd say, Maddie, why you spank him for? Why you gotta whip that boy? He ain't dropped no apple core, and I don't got grandma anymore. But when I get to heaven, I look for grandma's hands. Look around, look around, look around, look around for grandma's hands.
Man, That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that story.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know that are listening, but you're a teacher.
Yeah. My life is a wild ride. I never in a million years, I did not do great in school. I had some very impactful teachers for sure. But didn't go to school to be a teacher. I was actually in a ton of classes with your wife. I have a tourism management degree from Concord, and then a Regents of Arts degree because I took so many classes in random stuff. But yeah, just what happened was Jamie Smith and I were in business together. Actually, I was a beer salesman separately for years, and then lived in Virginia and North Carolina working for breweries in the craft beer business. And when I was living in North Carolina, I saw that there was a company that was only servicing draft beer places and cleaning their lines and doing installs. And so I was like, there's no place like that in West Virginia. And in those states, like North Carolina and Virginia, to get a health inspection passed, you have to prove that you're getting your lines cleaned. And so beer's a living organism with yeast in it. And so I thought that I had a good argument to start my own business in West Virginia because I thought that we would go that direction of having to get a health inspection with proof that you're getting your lines cleaned. And so we started a business called Clean Lines, and it was going really well. And then COVID happened. And so all those places that were serving draft beer and we were servicing closed down.
Oh, man.
So I sold my part out to Jamie and them, and just kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And since I had my degree, I was like, well, I'll go sub. And I subbed for adult basic education for about 8 months. Just wasn't steady because, not everybody needs a sub. There's only so many programs you can get into. And I was kind of afraid to go K through 12 teaching. Just because I love kids, but I was like, I don't know, they might eat me alive. And my first day I took at Beckley Stratton, which I was in the first class in that building. So my 7th and 8th grade year was when it was a junior high still, but I went to Stratton. And then my 9th grade year, they consolidated Beckley Junior High and Stratton. And so my very first, I was the first class my 9th grade year. And so my first day subbing was for 7th grade science. And I walked in, and the health teacher had married one of my best friends from high school. And the principal was a Mullins boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's from Mullins. And so, and then our cop stationed is from Oceana.
These are
Joey
our people,
Hunter.
Matt.
Yeah, our people. And so knew all those people. And they were like, Matt, the music teacher just put his 2 weeks in. Do you want to be the music teacher? My first day. And so I accepted the music teacher job my first day. And I've been there three and a half years.
It's meant to be, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been the coolest gig I've ever had. I love it. Kids are awesome. Great teaching job. Shout out Beckley Stratton Bulldogs. And I coach the Lady Bulldogs. I'm the basketball coach.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Nice. Heck yeah, man. Well, let's talk about that. So, me being from the county, I think a lot of kids in Southern West Virginia, I don't know if it's low self-esteem or I feel like a lot of kids, especially from the county, don't feel like they are capable of doing big things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like they feel like instantly they have to move to be able to.
And I think that's a big part of my passion of Bill Withers is his message is so positive, that lean on me message, that he's from right here. Like he made it on the biggest stage, won 3 Grammys. And I think that that's wise because I had that same mentality, out of high schools. Well, I gotta move away to make money, but we can make this area, we're seeing it. Stuff like Creepalachia, stuff like Kid in the Background and West Virginia Collective. Shout out West Virginia Collective.
And that's all with like a 5-mile radius.
Yeah, it's just crazy. We all have it's a small world that we have all these connections, but we're making Southern West Virginia better, and the industry is going to come. So
that's what I'm saying. Isn't it funner to build where you're at rather than go and do the typical route, you know?
Man, I'm so excited to see what's next. Like, I know that downtown Beckley, you know, I've said this a few times, and I don't mean it as a diss or as a slight on Beckley, but, you know, we should be jealous of Princeton because we've got all these murals in downtown Princeton. And
shout out Lori McKinney.
Yeah, Lori McKinney, the McKinneys know them well. And they worked hard to make that.
Sure.
But we've, you know, I think for years, Beckley has lacked an identity, and we're trying to, you know, now we've got the Bill Withers statue, which I think is the focal point of our town. But now we're working on this big mural on the side of the DHHR building that's it's not only going to showcase Bill, but it's going to showcase little Jimmy Dickens, who's from Bolt, West Virginia, Raleigh County, in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Calvin Simon, who started the Parliament Funkadelic, is from Beckley.
Oh, nice.
Went to Stratton too, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Everett Lilly, who's in the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame. And then we're going to have Hazel Dickens on there too, who's Mercer County. And I think that kind of showcases that we have all this diversity through I think all our families moved here to make money in the coal mines. And so there's this diversity where all our different cultures were living next to each other in the coal camps. And so Bill Withers said, you know, he listened to little Jimmy Dickens, and that kind of influenced his music. So I think that's what we're seeing now as we're.
Mine's similar. Mine got divorced and we moved here, but you know, that'll work too.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Man, I'm so grateful for that because we left, which I liked Ashland, Kentucky. I mean, it's all in the same kind of area. It's all Appalachia, and then moved to Welch, and I'm so grateful that happened because I think that really planted some creative roots in my body to kind of, you know, embrace what's around you. I've never been the type to kind of, you know, a lot of people just like to be negative and just say, oh, I hate this place, and kind of blame their own problems.
Yeah.
Rationalize their problems on this community. But I think the exact opposite of like, well, wouldn't it be so beautiful to be able to grow with this community and to, you know, turn it into something that you want to see. You
and
know
to
what
see
I mean?
it flourish. The Welch area, I think has such potential. You know, we've got to get some people down there that want to spend some money and bring some stuff, but now's the time, you know?
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, when you talk infrastructure and you can get into a million different issues, but such history there of like
little Chicago, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, let's see. McDowell, I think, had 100,000 people in it at one point in time. It wasn't long ago, 60 years ago. I mean, you know, that's a blink of an eye. But
and my grandma had the sign up that said, "Welcome to the $1 million coal fields of McDowell County." You know, it's crazy to think that through time it can turn into kind of desolate, but you see that it's still beautiful.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
it's one of those places that every time I go there, because we go and volunteer still with my in-laws. Every time I go there, man, it's just like a warm hug every time. I don't know what it is, if it's nostalgia or you know, because you pass all the places where you used to go all the time, and it's sad passing the bowling alley that it's closed now, but still, it's nice remembering what it was like going there. And
Sterling's still open.
Oh,
Sterling.
Heck yeah, man. I shout out Mayor McBride keeping it running. But, you know, at the same time, I think ideas are what changes things. And I don't want some kid, you know, I hope it would be amazing if some kid from McDowell listens to the show. I don't know if they do, but
yeah.
You know, I just believing in themselves. They've been told for so long that from outsiders, for some reason, I don't know if you feel this way, but with McDowell County, it's like other counties in West Virginia beat up on McDowell, and other states beat up on West Virginia. It's like, why do we do that? Like,
yeah, but we're also like the most prideful state, you know, of any of them. I think people always talk about how proud we are to be West Virginians, and I love that so much. But yeah, I hear people beating up on McDowell and Wyoming, you know, and that's what I posed that question because my mom's from Copperston, which is Wyoming County, and Dad's from Junior Pokey, which is Welch, McDowell County.
Oh, heck yeah.
And but if you're from McDowell County, you say you're from the county. But if you're from Wyoming County, I hear them. They say they're from the county, and I'm like, who's right? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who says it. We're all right.
You're all right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
And Rough and Rowdy Brawl plays that to their advantage when they come into town.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, all right. So, what's the music, like the culture like? Because I feel like all of you are friends. It's in a weird way. When we was a band, I would kind of be like, "Oh, we could play better covers than that band can play." You know, there's this little competitive thing, which I just think is so silly now. Because in the filmmaking world, it's kind of the same way. I started off being like kind of standoffish until I realized like these people have more in common with me than anyone else. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So what's we're
a community for sure. I mean, some of my best friends, Jonah Carden, Peterstown, the pride of Peterstown, Clinton Scott, you know, I mean, there's so many talented artists, Nick Durham, that we're all such good friends. And I don't know, man, I congratulate him and try to help him on as many shows that I can do. You know, I help book Railroad Days in Hinton. I book all the music for that. And I also book for Tamarack. I book their events. And so as much as I can help, I do, you know, like if Randy Gilkey doesn't do it for you, something ain't right. Cause he's just so, you know, he's so good and so talented. And we are so blessed to have such a talented community. Like, it's wild, the songwriting. This whole songwriter group that I talked about before, it's called the Song Machine, but it kind of really brought us together even more because we were writing songs about the same subject and kind of go in different directions. Matt Deal. I mean, it's really
Tell me about that, the Song Machine. So it's a thing?
So this is a Facebook group. I started this in 2009. I stole the idea. There's an Austin, Texas musician named Bob Schneider, and he was talking about it at his show. He called it the Song Game, and his was through email, but he started it as an email chain. He had Elvis Costello in it, Ben Folds, Jason Mraz, to name a few.
Wow.
And so he said that like he would pick a subject and everybody would have a week, and you had to write a song with that subject in it and submit it, record it and submit it. And if you didn't submit it, you got kicked out.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I took that blueprint, and it was originally called the Poetry Machine. And it was like me and 5 guys for years. And I was trying to be nice, and so I wouldn't kick anybody out because I was like, there's only like 6 of us. So let's just keep it going and we'll try to, but you get lazy with no consequence. Sure. So I tried to be a stickler. And I was like, I'm going to head up this group. And then once COVID came, it was actually the year 2019, we had about 150 songwriters from different parts of the world in it, but majority West Virginia. COVID happened. We had 350. And now we're over 500. So we restarted every January, and we add, any songwriter that wants to be involved. If you're a songwriter and you're listening to this and you want to get involved, you have to wait till next January, but you hit me up and we'll get you in there.
Yeah, let's talk qualifications. I know like 3 chords.
You're in there. It's all. So it's really, songwriting is a muscle like anything else. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. So many of us, can't get past that. Like, oh, it sucks. Like my song, about Mountain Dew. It sucks. That's the subject. I got to write a song about Mountain Dew. I can't write that song. But once you learn to get over that hump, like, all right, I got to figure out how I can write a song with this in it. And the other part is like, you kind of have to submit something to your peers and be okay with it. And that helps you perform. That helps you, write better songs. I feel like when I'm in this group, I'm writing more songs past the sub, because I'm exercising that muscle.
Yeah.
So we restart every January. we do a 2-week window. So I picked the first subject. All the Pieces was this year's first one. I believe that was All the Pieces. And then everybody has 2 weeks. They write a song and submit it. And I go through and listen to the songs. You're supposed to post your lyrics, read, make sure that you do it right. And then I kick everybody out that didn't do it. And then the next week, whoever has left, whoever the first person to submit that week is who picks the next subject. And so they write, and then I make the cover photo, that prompt. And then at the end of the year, whoever's left, I pay, and Jonah Carden, we pay to put it out digitally, that you get to pick whatever song you like the most that you wrote that year. And we put it out as a compilation album.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah. So you can look the Song Machine up, and you get to hear what it's about.
So you can get the album now?
Yeah. It's 2017 and 2018, 2019, I think are up. And then we haven't put the rest of them up because people can't get their songs squared away, which, but maybe we just weren't going to do that one, the last one. I think 2020 and 2021 are up, and then that's what it is. But,
gotcha. Have you booted anyone? Did you hold true to it?
Oh yeah, I've
okay.
Yeah. You have. I mean, and I've had people threaten me, and I've had a guy send me, some funny pictures through email. So mad that he photoshopped my face on stuff.
Dude, that's amazing. Did you frame that?
No, I loved it though, because I love people get that fired up. Like, I mean, I'm probably not going to invite him back, but
right.
But no, I mean, I want them to know that it's not me just like trying to be on this power trip. That's not it at all. I just, if you don't stick to the rules, then anything can happen. But if you have this set of rules and you're like, all right, you can't veer from the, if it's All the Pieces, you can't split up those words and put other words in there. It has to be consecutive. All the pieces need to be in there.
Yeah.
But you can do anything with it. And as long as it's, your song that you put a melody to, it can be 30 seconds long, or it can be 18 minutes. You can do Anagata-Navita or whatever is that. But it's a creative outlet. And then so this year's been really fun, and to get to see how it's inspiring to see how many different directions it can go to,
Have you ever wrote anything from that you kept?
I think almost all the Bringdowns' last 2 albums are full of Song Machine songs.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we can do one that's...
Shoot, yeah, man. Pick one.
Yeah. So this is... We were talking about my wife had never seen, she's from Pennsylvania, had never seen the movie Matewan.
Oh.
And, we start talking about the coal mine wars, and I explained to her that they shot most of the movie in Thurman. And she stops the movie like 20 minutes in, and she's like, why does West Virginia like coal mining again? Because like it shows how screwed up that the high ups treated the workers.
Right.
And I kind of went on this tangent, like how I do, about even now, we're dealing with that same thing. And in the early 2000s, in the Oxycontin, opioid, the beginning of the opioid epidemic, like coal mining had a lot to do with that. And she'd never really heard that. And I was thinking about how they would tell you around that time, the high ups would tell you what doctor to go see, and you get hurt. And they're like, all right, go see this doctor. And like in Kermit, West Virginia, I don't remember what the population was, but it's not many.
400. I think it was around 400.
And they had 2 million Oxycontin prescriptions, wasn't it?
It was 9 million pain pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, so that's crazy. And so it started with that because they wanted, if you got hurt, they wanted you to keep working. And then what happened was you worked through the pain, but then you probably nod off, or you get hurt worse or killed. And then that person has addiction on their back, and then they're, starting with heroin and using in that way. So there's a great book that your wife and I's advisor, Susan Williams, let me read. It's called, is it Dream World. I'll have to look it up, but it talks about the opioid epidemic and black tar heroin kind of in a race to Appalachia.
Right.
Yeah. I think
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, look it up. Dreamland.
Dreamland.
The true tale of America's opiate epidemic. And it talks about, it was like a literal race between black tar heroin and Oxycontin to Appalachia because they knew that we were defenseless. So that kind of makes you also a little more sympathetic to people that do have addiction on.
Oh yeah, and the Sacklers, if you're listening, you can kiss my hairy ass. I'm gonna have to beep that.
Yep,
but
that's all right.
But yeah. So and then when they cracked down on the OxyContin, all of the people that were left under the pains of addiction had to go somewhere, and heroin was the answer. And there's an amazing documentary done by a mentor of mine, Elaine Sheldon, called Heroin on Netflix. It's a short film. It was actually nominated for an Academy Award, about won an Oscar.
Wow.
But I highly suggest, and also Recovery Boys, they made that too. They shot for like 4 years and made a bunch of amazing films. But yeah, and we'll get into this subject after you play this song because I think it's an important one for sure.
Yeah, so this is called China White, which is all about that. It goes like this. Family thought you was coming home tonight. Since the mind's laid off, you ain't been right. Prescriptions move through its pocket like a symphony. Set up to fail and be forgotten while them doctors get rich from the Oxycontin. Medications replaced his family. They found a recipe to uproot a family tree. Only cobwebs is left, and all they do is grow. You left us for south of where you mind cold. Always thought that his head was on straight. Got hurt one time and it sealed his fate. Till it happens to you, it seems like a fallacy. The scripts keep you working while you're hurt, until you're hurting so much you just can't work. Seducing addiction will be his eulogy. They found a recipe to uproot a family tree. Only cobwebs is left, and all they do is grow. You left us incommunicado. Mines gave us money, but they took even more. Only the rich kept the green, suffocated the poor. Left us all now with distorted memories. And they got you hooked now, you're hunting down a dealer. A vicious cycle underneath the cedars. Traded one life for that China White. They found a recipe to uproot a family tree. And only cobwebs is left, and all they do is grow. You left us for south of where you dug coal.
Incredible.
Thanks, man.
So that was a Song Machine song?
Yeah, incommunicado was the word, which I thought was a Spanish word until I looked it up.
I was thinking, I was like, that's a great word.
Yeah.
And that's so funny that was the
incommunicado was the word in the Song Machine that you had to write a song with. So
Dude.
that was that.
That's awesome. Well, that just shows you creativity. It's like, of course, that word goes back to prescription pain pill addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I love that you integrate all of these important themes into your songs, because that's one that I've been talking a lot lately about, people trying to be more empathetic when it comes to addiction, and that it's never, there's so much gray involved in it.
Yeah.
And people don't really think about, a majority of these, I feel, are situations like this where someone gets hurt on a job and then all of a sudden they're sucked into this vortex that they can't get out of.
Yeah. I mean, we all have that family member or somebody close to us that's went through it. And it's just life consuming, and it's so easy to get mad at them because you think like, why can't you get a hold of it? And it's not that easy.
No. And I'll always, because it literally, if you know someone who got pulled into it, you'll know how different of a person they are. It literally changes them into something else.
Yeah, you're a shell of a person, like the former person that you were, And if you can get through it, and I don't know that you're ever totally over it, but I think it really, you see the kind of person that they've become and makes them stronger and value life more. And so, I'm sure you graduated from Mount View.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so many kids that I knew that went to Mount View, passed away, and it's terrible. My first cousin, just passed away in January, and he's had a life full of addiction that he just could not beat, and he was a funny dude, and he, even talking to him, I could hear in his voice that it was still the same person that I grew up with, but, something different. He just couldn't, never in a million years, as, we were even in our teens, did I think that he would be a person that could rob somebody else, but because addiction had completely taken over his life. And I mean, that's what he ended up, getting involved in. It was like robbing houses and all this stuff. And it's just wild to grew up the same way on the same hill, and I lived in Welch till I was 4, but, and then moved back to Beckley, at 8, and I would spend every holiday and go down and see my cousin all the time. And grew up in the same spot, and just, I'm lucky that didn't get a hold of me. I was always afraid of it.
Dude,
because of that.
Every time I would be around it, it was such an odd feeling, because one of my best friends, and his name's Eric. I won't say his last name. I don't want any of his family to. I don't want to diminish his name, but he was always the kindest person, and he got pulled into it, and he never got into crime or anything like that. He was just into hurting himself.
Yeah.
And he beat it. And we got several years later, and he had one relapse where someone said, "Hey, take this pill at a party." Took it, and I think he did an upper and a downer in some kind of weird way, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
And we all heard about it, and it was just so devastating. But when I was always around this stuff, like someone would get out, like they had these little things that would literally crush pills for you. These little containers. They'd get them out, and then they'd start crushing pills. And I just always felt like I was watching someone kill themselves.
Yeah.
In the room.
I mean, it's just devastated a whole generation, a few generations actually. But I mean, that Dreamland, I'm in the part of the book where they're talking about Huntington, West Virginia, and there was 4 heroin deaths ever until that time in the early 2000s, when heroin's coming up from the South Mexico area, and opioids are coming from the California area across, and there was more deaths in Huntington, West Virginia by heroin than big, huge cities, and not enough population. So it's crazy that it took over our area like that. And we all have somebody that's really close to it, and it's just awful. And I hate it so much that's happened.
Yeah. But if you're suffering from it, a lot of, a lot of people listen to the show. I'm so grateful to have such a diverse audience, but in that is the addicted community too. And I'm glad they're listening, and I just want them to know it's possible to get out. Cause I've had people on here that, have been in the worst situations, and then they somehow made it out, and then they talk about it, and it's so inspiring because, from what I gather, it's nothing like anyone will ever experience.
Right.
Like we think like, oh, I'm addicted to my phone. Well, it's take that times 100.
Yeah,
trying to get out of it, and it's really a mindset of. And the guy I talked to, Dana, he's done. He's been clean for 30 years. He just said it starts with accountability, and you just work your way up, and always know that it can happen. And you're struggling every day to get out of it. But it's possible. And Huntington, you mentioned Huntington. That's actually where Heroin is based. The short film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually have seen it.
Yeah.
It follows the
three ladies.
Yeah.
Jan Radar is one of them.
Yeah.
She was the head of the fire department. And then they had one person, that judge that was in the court system. I can't remember her name. And then another that was kind of an intermediary. I can't remember exact position, but it's an amazing, because they play off the word heroin, because it's actually heroin, like women leaders. So it's an incredible film.
Wow.
All right. So I think let's wrap it up with one final song. If you had to play one song that said, I'm Matt Mullins.
Well, I got to tell the story first.
Sure. Perfect. Yep.
So this is the last song on the new record. And I got to play it for you, especially because I read this story back in July. First, let me tell you that our drummer in our band, this is the first times that this has happened. It happened on the previous album once, where Dylan actually wrote all the music. But he didn't have melody or lyrics or anything. And he said, I've written this. Would you like to write, melody and lyrics to this music? So listened to it, and then I had read a story about a group of veterans that were going to unknown soldier grave sites, and they're DNA testing, and they're finding out who these soldiers are that are buried. And so over in France, they went to a grave site, and there's a fella named Mo Vance, Mose, super cool name. And he's from Bradshaw, West Virginia.
Oh, wow.
And so his nephews are still living, and they wanted, his remains sent. And so they sent Mo Vance remains after 80 years. They sent his remains from France back to McDowell County, and they gave him a proper funeral.
Dude, and that's deep in the county, son.
Yeah, Bradshaw.
Yeah,
and so I reached out to the family to make sure it was cool, and they were really cool to tell me the story of him. He played the guitar in the Army band, and he passed away on his 21st birthday.
Oh, wow!
Or he was just turned 21. They don't know when he passed away, but he was 21 over in the fighting for our country.
Man, that's incredible.
So this is the last song on the record, and it's not the same without the band with all the big guitars and
you're too modest, sir.
Drums. But this is I had to play this one for you because it's McDowell County, and
you're
McDowell County, so
county proud. All right, reverbing up.
All right, this is Mo Vance. It's hell living life every day for my own survival. No, you don't know the pain, the torture and the strain between a man and his rifle. A casualty of war is the price for being dead on arrival. What they paid, it looks so different, like when roses grow through the pavement. It's not hollow, not hollow no more. His grave's not hollow, not hollow no more. In 44, the world was torn. Well, most died before his son was born. Whispers dance with fate, a pilot dead to keep straight. They send back dog tags on a Bible. Those bones left in France, among them Mo Vance. Blood at the feet of the Eiffel. What they paid, it looks so different, like when roses grow through the pavement. His grave's not hollow, not hollow no more. His grave's not hollow, not hollow no more. He played guitar through the wind, carries him home again. He's rustling through the sugar maples. McDowell County son, we raised 21 guns. Finally a proper funeral. After 80 years gone, he made his way back home. Closure for the family table. What they paid, it looks so different, like when roses grow through the pavement. His grave's not hollow, not hollow no more. His grave's not hollow, not hollow no more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Matt,
Mo's.
what a way to end it.
Thanks, man.
All right, what are we plugging? Let's let people know when's the shows, when's the album dropping.
Yeah, man. You can check us out at bringdowns.com is our website. Stuart Hill, who's a legend guitar player from Pineville, is our guitar player and kind of like our musical director. He takes these songs that I've written on acoustic and gives them all the flair that people love.
Man, I love it. I'm so honored. I don't even. I feel like I got to give you a hug or something.
Yeah,
like,
I want all the hugs. I'm a hugger anyway.
I love the talent, man. I'm so grateful for all the stories, and you'll have to come back. So
yeah, I want to. I want to play. Can I play you a funny song to end on?
Oh heck yeah!
I want to play. I forgot. This is. I know that I was going to end with that one, but we got to keep it lighthearted. I feel like we were only heavy. And
dude, I love it. Oh yeah, you can play 100 songs. Like okay. I'm here as long as you want to be. Let's do it.
So this is my Oceana side, right? My Copperston Oceana side. My Uncle Joe is the funniest family member I have. Shout out Uncle Joe.
Shout out Uncle Joe.
In all his Fu Manchu glory.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's an all-star. But I was dating my first serious girlfriend, and it was time to take her to Wyoming County to kind of meet all the family. And I was warning her the whole time I was headed down there. I said, if my Uncle Joe's there, be prepared to see me get embarrassed. And she was like, well, Matt, I date you. How, I'm prepared. And I think everybody has that family member that you're a little bit embarrassed about to introduce your significant other to for the first time. And if you don't have that family member, it's you. And so, Uncle Joe, he didn't show up. We were at this party and I thought I was in the clear. Like all my cousins, they're talking me up. They're, giving me confidence. I'm like, oh man, I'm in the clear. Uncle Joe has went to bed early. He's not going to show up. And all of a sudden, it was like that record scratch moment, kind of spotlight on the chain link fence. And Uncle Joe opens the fence and he sees that I'm with a girl and won't even make eye contact with me. And kind of with his limp, he's got an artificial hip. With his limp, it's a 3-wheeler accident. He makes a beeline straight for the girl and gets about 3 inches from her face and just says, "Damn, Matt, you done good." and that was like his only introduction. And I was just like, oh man, here it comes. And so he didn't even say like, "I'm Joe." That was his introduction. And he shows the girl that he's wearing a leather holster. He pops his shirt up, shows the leather holster. He pops the holster. I didn't know what was about to happen.
Oh, Lord.
And out of the holster, he pulls out a daily pill box, like the plastic one.
No way.
With, the days of the week letters on it. And I guess he had it for the quick draw scenario. And he pulls it out of the holster and he goes, "I don't know if Matt, you told you, but I got hit by a cold car a few years ago. So that's my Sunday medicine. But my Sunday medicine, it gets my water on my knee acting up. So that's my Monday medicine. But my Monday medicine, it gives me the brain pain. So that's my Tuesday medicine. But my Tuesday medicine, shoo-wee, it gets my stomach acting like I ate some taquitos from 7-Eleven. And I was like, oh, Uncle Joe, that's way too many side effects. So I wrote this song for my Uncle Joe. It's called The Side Effects. I wanted to play you this one. And you said if I had a quintessential song that I've written, it might not be this one, but I like to make people laugh. So this is actually a true story.
Oh, I can see Uncle Joe right now.
Yeah. He's a terrific man. So this is The Side Effects for my Uncle Joe. It goes like this. He got Xanax for his nerves. He got Codone for his back. Ambien helps him get to sleep, but amphetamines bring him back. Migraines get a Percocet, but Ritalin zeroes him in. It upsets his stomach, so he'll need Phenagrin. Pills to make you go fast. They got pills to help you get skinny. Pills for your hurt feelings till you just don't have any. They'll prescribe you enough pills to always keep you sick. It seems like the side effects is worse than what you started out with. Do they hurt? Do they heal? Do those pills make you feel things no human should feel? But my Uncle Joe's girlfriend Trish thinks it's the deal. When he takes these little blue bedroom pills, he calls them his mood enhancers. I'm about 92% sure, though, they're just Mentos. Till then, he takes a Prilosec before breakfast, a Paxil to face the day, a Lipitor for cholesterol, but B12 makes him feel okay. Valium when he's uneasy, Oxys when he needs rest. It makes him feel real weird, Adderall makes him feel best. Pills will make you feel bad, pills will make you go fast. They got pills to help you get skinny, pills for your hurt feelings till you just don't have any. They'll prescribe you enough pills to always keep you sick. It seems like the side effects is worse than what you started out with.
Oh my goodness. No better way to end this.
Yes.
That is That is amazing.
Yes, had to go funny.
Yeah, lighten it up, people.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Y'all check out Matt Mullins and the Bringdowns, please.
Yes, we got our, June 5th is our album release at Folklore Music. That's a Wyoming County boy that owns Folklore, Justin Pewitt. Shout out Coal Mountain, representing in Charleston. And then
is Eric Robbins still there?
Yes, Eric Robbins. Justin.
Shoot, yeah.
Oh, and then Eric was my childhood neighbor.
So you lived right up there?
Yeah, he lived on Hale Street.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I lived on Ashworth Drive. Wow. In the Circle.
Yeah. Well, I live nowhere near Beckley, so anyone knows.
Yes, but, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No. I was zeroing in there.
There you go.
No, that's great.
June 6th at Weather Ground Brewery in Cool Ridge. I went to grade school with the owner of Weather Ground. She's one of my greatest friends. Love her. And they've made Cool Ridge cool.
Oh, lawyer. What's her name?
Aaron Fonda.
Aaron Fonda.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Aaron and Sam. Sam, her husband, he is so cool. I want to be that guy.
The ultimate beer brewer.
They're so cool. And they're making not just great West Virginia beers, but world-class beers right here in Southern West Virginia.
Heck yeah, man. An amazing place. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I love Creepalachia. Keep listening. Make sure that you're supporting this guy. Click the bell and the subscribes and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, and on that, so click the like before you leave. Be sure to subscribe to Creepalachia if you haven't already. Also, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leave a review. Tell Matt how amazing his songs are. And also we're on Facebook and TikTok, so be sure to follow us there. But everyone else, before I forget, above all else, don't forget, long live Appalachia.
Yeah.